This is an Ash White podcast coming to you from the Milne Road Studios, Redwood Park in Adelaide, Australia. Yeah. 3, 2. Hello, everybody. We've got a new guy here today called Big Robbo. Big Robbo, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Whitey. Thanks for having us.
Good week?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Good to have a drop of rain. Can't complain.
Prepare for landing. That's our first plane. Yes, it has been welcome the rain, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been dry. I don't think we've had decent rain since, I think it was Australia Day, someone said on the radio. But, it's good.
Geez, that's going back a fair way, isn't it?
A little bit.
All right, the red button's down too, just to make sure.
Yeah, good.
Yes, it's been a dry first 6 months, hasn't it?
Very dry. One of the driest on record, I believe.
Is that right? Beautiful. That's good to have those stats around, Robbo.
Yes.
It's excellent.
Yes.
And you've had a good week. It's gone pretty quick. We're Friday afternoon here again.
Yes, 472.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes,
good sport. God's country.
I tell you what's good about it, Robbo, is if you were to be living at Goodwood, mate, you wouldn't get the fogs like you do up here in the hills. The foothills are very nice. It's a good place, the gully. I enjoy that we're elevated a little bit and we get the gully breeze at night time that can be a bit towy and also to get the fog. I love the fog. I love Olinda. I love the mountains. I love all the high stuff, as you know, and if you can put a bit of white magic on top for me, it's a very, very special place.
Yeah, no, you're in a good spot here, mate. Very good spot.
So I did a job today, Robbo, for TCM Carpentry. Matt Trelaw, you're a great bloke. You did some great work today. We did some big doors for you. We did talk about this podcast tonight, and he said, "Have you got Big Robbo on?" I said, "Yes, I have." So great day, man. That was one of the best days we've had on a Friday for a while, which allowed me to pick Robbo up about an hour earlier than normal. So we've just, believe it or not, cracked our first beer. So, Robbo, how good's this?
Yeah, it's good. You could be doing a lot worse on a Friday afternoon.
We've waited a little while to get here, and here we are.
Here we are, mate.
So it's cheers to you, Steve. It's very nice to have you here. Let's start with you. You were born in Adelaide.
Yes, born in '68. Good year. At the QEH, which is still there today, obviously, and yeah.
We weren't born too far apart. I was down there as well.
Yes, yeah, I believe you were. So, yeah, good hospitals and good people who come from there, I reckon.
They got a bus stop there out the front, haven't they?
Yeah, we used to also say, when people used to ask where I was born, I used to say bus stop 21 Port Road, and they'd ask me why, and that was a time check when, on the buses.
Well, I spent most of my childhood down in Woodville. My uncle had 5 boys, so they were my 5 cousin boys. Mm-hmm. And they all played baseball for Woodville. So Mum used to work on Grand Junction Road there at Wingfield. And, we used to go down there and train Tuesday, Thursday, play Saturday. And I spent a lot of time in that Bourne area, Woodville.
Oh, okay.
And a great time. It was a great time. You had 8 boys playing baseball between the cousins.
Yeah, good.
And that was a great time. Good time. We used to get the bus in, down Grand Junction Road back then. And
yes.
There was we used to get off at Mum's work there, and she'd drop us there and go and have coffee with the sister and then pick us up afterwards.
Yeah, that's cool.
Get the bus into town some days and get the one down Findon Road and...
yes.
Great times, man.
Yeah, no, good. Good spot there. You're close to the city and... you had train and bus and, you had everything there. A couple of footy ovals not too far away from you, Woodville Oval and Alberton and that.
Yeah, the
good.
oval there. Yes, that was always a good place. Mm. And, and Alberton's just down the road.
Yes, Alberton, lock your car doors when you go there, that's for sure.
How many times you been to the Albie Hotel?
A couple of times. The old man lived at 4th Avenue in Cheltenham, I think, and, he used to play a bit of squash at the Alberton squash courts, and then after squash he'd have a few pints there and a beer garden out the back with the wire seats. I think they were, from memory, them old rickety wire seats. But
Isn't that funny? For all the years I've known you, my dad played squash at Alberton as
There
well.
you go. Yeah.
Taught Chris Dittmar.
There you go. The big red
How's
cat.
that for a small? I never knew that. I never knew it because Dad lived at Cheltenham there, just
Yeah.
next to the railway line there.
Yes.
So they had the smallest fence out the front. I think it was only a foot high. Probably didn't even qualify as a fence.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
But yeah, you go a little bit further and get down the footy Park Boulevard there. That's now all changed. That's all different, isn't it?
They're all different now. Yeah, they're all different. There was some, a good footy ground though, Pleurisy Park, or whatever they used to call it, because the state games, and I watched a lot of SANFL there, the Double Blues. So yeah, some good times at footy parks. It'll be a lot of memories for a lot of people there, I reckon.
It was a long way back from going to the corporates with old mate every now and then.
Yes.
He'd have to let me out at Mawson Lakes for a pee.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how, that landmark was there for so long? And, you get the buses down to watch your team play or, later on, whether there was an AFL game there or whatever, to see it now that it's just been pulled down piece by piece.
Yeah.
The Oval's still there, sure.
Yes.
Which is good, and you've still got that building. I think the Crows still occupy, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
But they're moving too, aren't they, to South Road?
Yes.
On the corner there.
South and Ashwin, yeah. That's
So
where they're gonna...
does that dissolve West Torrens, or are they not there
Not
anymore?
sure. Not sure, mate. But I suppose that's a watch this space with the Crows' new training facilities, which they need. Really, they've got to have their own ground. I've watched them a few times while they've been training, where Footy Park used to be, and it's a bit of a shambles, really.
It's really open now too, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
It's
imagine.
second rate, really, for us,
Yeah.
AFL club.
And you got every freaking house looking at, the people training. And, I know they've built the area up a little bit to try to protect it a little bit, but too open.
Agree.
Too open. I'm glad it's back in the city there now. What they've done with Adelaide Oval's fantastic.
Brilliant.
I was saying to a few of the baseball boys, it would be nice to see the baseball go back to Nord Oval.
Absolutely, yeah.
How wonderful would that be in the off season?
Yeah, that'd be good. It's just a good spot, isn't it?
Beautiful.
The parade's a great spot to watch footy or baseball.
You build it, they'll come. It's just
For sure.
And it's got that sort of old red brick look about it, like Adelaide Oval used to look like.
Yes.
And I think once again that's the theatre of the game. It only goes for 3 hours. Baseball's pretty quick, so it won't. They've built a beautiful facility down there at West Beach, and that'll be there for a long time. It's good for all the people and all the sports. They cover everything pretty well. And
is that opposite the caravan park?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a huge area there, isn't it?
So I've played a few games on there. We were lucky enough
good.
with the Masters, and
Excellent.
we came second one year. We got a silver medal, which was pretty cool.
Fucking killer.
So same as Footy Park, we played there in 1984 and 85 with Pizza Hut Cup back at Banksia Park High School.
Yeah, it's good.
There was Ian Leslie in the field, in the stand there with Mandy and that, and his overalls. Apparently he looked all right.
Yeah, that's good, mate. That's excellent. If you can run out onto a ground and say you've played there, whether it's fucking mini league or, like you say, whatever the cup you just said was, that's ticks a box in my eyes. Yeah, that's good.
It was amazing to see how much slope was on that for drainage, that you could stand on one side and you could barely see someone or half the body standing on the other wing, say, from the grandstand side. It had heaps of fall on it.
Heaps of fall. Watched a bit of I think they played 1 or 2 games of World Series cricket there back in the late 70s, early 80s. And yeah, that's when I probably first noticed. It might have been the first time I went there as a young bloke. And yeah, I can recall that fall, like you say, in the centre of the ground. It seemed like it was about 1.5 foot higher than, where the rope was for when they hit a boundary.
You remember it without seats.
Yes.
Especially the outer, and then they put the upper outer on. Remember,
Yes.
They did that on the northern end first, I
Correct.
think.
Yeah.
And then I think they might have gone around the top. I can't even remember now. It's been a while since we've been at Footy Park.
Yeah, sure is. We slept there one night before was a qualifying final for Sturt or something. Yeah. And by the time we didn't get much sleep that night, one bloke slept in them bins where you put your second-hand clothes in. We squeezed him way through there. But minimal sleep, ended up missing that game. I think woke up or just too tired by early morning and, went home.
Paul Bagshaw, or who was playing?
It would have been Baggy, Rick Davies, Michael Graham.
Flash, yeah.
Yeah.
How good's that? They were great days, weren't they? Where
Strong competition.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Good as gold, you know.
Yep.
You do miss it. But at least the NSAFL still plays that brand of footy. It hasn't changed a great deal.
No, it's
There's a
good.
few little short kicks, penalties that have crept in just to modernise it a little bit. But unlike the AFL, they do let it play on, which is the South Australian way of playing it. Don't get too ticky-tacky on the... It's not about the umpire. Just let the ball roll on and let the guy kick the goal and win the game by a point.
Correct.
Don't let an umpire give you a decision and you lose by 5.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference between AFL and SANFL.
But the rivalry here is still pretty good in South Australia with all the footy.
Very strong. Yeah.
There's been a few times where you and I have been to a Carlton and Crows game, and we remember the night we went across and the little bugger stole the
the budget out of the back pocket, the footy record.
You had to buy him a burger to get it back.
Bought a few of them a burgers. I think they were little street kids or something, but they were okay. But cheeky little pricks.
They were bouncy, weren't they?
They were, and that's when Carlton got done by, I think it was about 119 points, so it wasn't the best night. But we did have some success that night, thanks to you spotting a certain individual at the bar.
I think he might have stood around 6'10", didn't he?
He was heading towards 6'10". Yeah.
Old Stixie.
Old Stixie.
I couldn't believe our luck when he just slightly bumped into me, and I looked around. I kept looking up, and I thought, geez, that guy looks like Kernahan.
Yes.
So I've gone to Robbo. Look who's behind me.
A couple of photos with him, thanks to you, and that was fucking top the night off for sure. Meeting Big Sticks, especially after getting done by 119 points. He was still happy enough to let him have a few photos with us.
There's been some good times in there, hasn't there?
Certainly has.
Yeah, well, let's go and have a look at some of your early works. We won't go on with your Lingle Farm just at the minute. You were doing what at the with the buses?
With the buses, yep. We were lucky to get in there, really. We started at a public libraries branch as a library attendant.
That's it.
I had a very good mate's sister, knew of my situation. I think I was picking apples at Lenswood or something at the time, and asked if I wanted to help out. They used to have a book sale. It used to be located on the parade. So I said yes to that. Just was going to be a weekend or just helping them set up for this book sale. Happy with the way I worked, and put me on for 9 months, 3-month contracts, and then couldn't extend it anymore, but really did their best to help me get a permanent position in the government. And I think it was an asphalt worker with the Adelaide Council or a chassis cleaner for STA, the State Transport Authority, which I applied for both and got an interview for the chassis cleaner and landed it. And, very, very happy. That was probably the first full-time position I'd had, and I was really stoked with that, and that was good.
When do you reckon that was?
80s? Yeah, definitely 80s, probably mid to late 80s, probably late 80s, maybe 88.
Yeah, righto. So you're in there for a few years, and then you changed to driving?
I went from chassis cleaning, which was a real dirty-ass job, as you can imagine, cleaning the underneath of the buses, and you used to be able to do internal transfers, so got a gig as an interior cleaner with the buses. And you got to remember, none of this was hard work. It was being government, we do, minimal work. So did that, and then eventually decided to step up and become a bus operator, and that was good.
That was 1 or 2 shifts a day?
I did a broken shift, which was roughly along the times of around 6:30 till 10:30. Then I'd go home and start again about 2:33 till about 6:30, 7. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it, but I didn't mind it. But it was a long day, and you were mainly in the peak hour of both. So in hindsight now, probably maybe shouldn't have, but it was good, in that break. Sometimes you just play cards with boys, 8-ball, and fuck around a bit. Yeah.
Keep you tidy as well, wouldn't it? Keep you tidy in the afternoons.
Yes, yeah. Well, on that real quickly, I reckon the first or second day of doing the buses, and I was on a breaking shift, so I went home and just pulled a long neck out the fridge and had a schooner or a half with a sandwich, and I didn't really realise that you weren't allowed to have a beer, you know. But anyway, I soon learned not to do that. But didn't realise you had to be 0.0.
Yeah, that's right. Even back in when we were doing the high rise in the city, don't put it in that one. Grab another one. But even back in the days when we were doing the high rise, and that was sort of late 80s, early 90s, we'd still go and have a couple of pints for lunchtime and then go back to work. You know, there was no one could stop you back then.
Yeah, I suppose carrying 50, 60 people maybe might be a little bit different, but yeah, I fully understand what you're saying. Yeah.
But they were still freer days. You could still move about. You know, you really were still around that first Iraq War back in the early 90s there, and we were all prime meat to go to war, weren't we?
Yep.
It was a scary time. You used to sit around the radio back then and listen to the updates, what was going on.
For sure.
I interviewed Greg Rogers here a few years ago now, but he was deployed by the US Air Force, and he was working up in Turkey, and the planes would go out, they'd refuel them, they'd go out, and it was pretty full on stuff. You know, it's real. They had 1 million people in the theatre just going around there, and
yeah, real for sure. It's a different world, isn't it? Really, it's full on.
Be scary that it's that real. You know, it's
very
just
scary.
So you do follow the footy? You do like Carlton?
Yeah, love me Blue Baggers, mate. Very happy with last night's result. It was an important game for either side to win, and I'm glad they got the job done.
You turn the power off in the city there?
Yeah, well, let them figure out their problems. We'll just stay in my lane and
it is good
to get the Blues.
It's good to see the rebuild coming to fruition now. Like,
yes,
Carlton have been hurting for 20 years, and you look at it now, and you look at them moving the ball out of the centre last night. They're on the way up.
Yeah, they're on the way up. You just got to, I suppose, like most people know, you got to peak at the right time, and we did really well last year. It's just such a long season to win one game at the end of the year, but that's what it's all about, and that's why we love it. But so far, so good.
Yeah, you've really got to stay fit, don't you? You know, try to rest them up just slightly beforehand, and keep them in the game. But you want to have a full crew, and you want your best crew to do that 5 weeks.
Correct.
And you got a good chance of getting there to the final. Winning it is a totally different beast.
Yes.
But getting to it,
yeah,
you've got to get to it first. And then it's almost 49-51 the other way, looking from both sides.
Yeah, it's
very hard things to win. It doesn't matter what sport it is.
Correct.
But you're a Sturt Barracker as well, mate, in the SANFL.
Yeah, love me double Blues, love Carlton. Even the local footy, I love a lot of amateur footy. We've got a few people we both know that are affiliated with Mobbury and Golden Grove, and I follow the local Divi 6 mob boys, Ingle Farm. And,
you're the farmer boy down there, you always have been?
Yeah, born and bred in Ingle Farm, so... Yeah, back in the Safford days, they were a very strong side, but they went up last year from Div 7 to Div 6. So, I'll go down, take a couple of cans, and then, watch the first half and mosey on home and probably be watching some AFL then, or just because man's not a camel, you can't just have 2 cans either on a Saturday afternoon. And I do like the local sport, and, it's good. It's good.
I think it's all about local sport. That's where it starts, isn't it? Where your girls played soccer there for the farmers and did well, and it's got to start somewhere, Robbo, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Hence grassroots. Grassroots footy, soccer, baseball, wherever. And we all know some of the people. If you have been involved in a club and they've gone on to become, whether it's an A-League soccer player or a decent baseballer or AFL or SANFL for that matter. Yeah, so it's good to. They all come from somewhere, whether it's out in the bush or local footy.
Sure. Look at Head with the cricket.
Absolutely.
He's just up the road here, so...
earning huge dollars.
And you think, little old Adelaide, but little old Adelaide's just slowly pushing its way out into the world, and I love what they're doing with the city. As you know, I've seen a few big cities in my time, and... I'll tell you which town still ranks very highly as a big city is Melbourne.
Right.
The CBD of Melbourne, when you come from Tunnel Marine on the double-decker bus heading into the city there, that silhouette of they must have, I think they've got 7 or 8 towers now over 100 stories or thereabouts.
Well, it's big, isn't
And
it?
it is a very big silhouette. You know, as you drive north away from New York, you've probably got 2 Melbournes side by side.
Yeah.
Just the fact that Long Island's so long there in Manhattan, where it dips in the middle. You've got a couple of you have the Chrysler Building and I'll forget the other ones, but then you get to Central Park and you've got 100-story skinny buildings that come out of the bitumen. It's unbelievable. And then, of course, up to the Bronx there where the Yankees live. And, it's a good place to visit.
Well, that's where it's good that you've seen that, mate. I've seen minimal of Australia, let alone the world. So, yeah, you've experienced a lot more than me. You know, I get excited to see them couple of big buildings or motels in Adelaide, and I look up at them and think, wow, you know, it's huge. Or driving down from O'Halloran Hill looking at the skyline or whatever you want to call it of Adelaide, and over the years, to me, that's like, you know, it's getting really big, but it's obviously just a drop in the ocean compared to a lot of places.
Well, it's still, yeah, for sure, but Adelaide is looking really good.
Absolutely. It's progressing really well. I think they've got a good premier in at the moment with all the sports stuff that he's done, and, yeah, it's good. It's progressing really well.
He's doing really good for the state, isn't he? He's not only a fit, good-looking fellow, but he seems to be on the front foot. He's doing positive stuff.
Yeah, he seems to be genuine, which is all you can ask for. From pretty rare for a poly, seems to be genuine. Yeah.
No, I think Adelaide's going the right way. I think, retractable lights, one-way highways that stop for half an hour.
Yeah.
I think we've grown up from that, thank goodness.
Yeah, it was a bit of a fuck-up, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, I've been a professional driver for 3.5 decades now, and you used to sit there and go, what do you mean the road's shut for an hour? Oh, we've got to turn it around. What are you going to turn around?
Yeah, that was a laughing stock, wasn't it? It really. But as you said,
we had to get there. We had to build it. We had to build one lane first and divide it each way, and then build the one alongside of it. And look at it now. It is getting better. You go all the way to Selix now, and it's not about bagging Adelaide, but we have come a long way. I do a lot of work down at Normanville and South, Victor Harbour and all that. But the Normanville run now through Aldinga, they've got the underpass now active. That's active now, and then it goes into that bumpy bit where the vineyards are.
Yes.
And it's still a 70, but I think they even got that up to an 80 zone now and drops back to a 60 as you go up to Selix Hill. But
yeah, fair enough.
what about a beer at the Victory there? Have you been up the Selix Hill pub?
No, never.
Never been there?
No, I don't reckon I've ever been to. I've been to Selix and all of that, yeah, but that's normally if we do a drive like that, that's sort of, yeah, probably wait till I get home to have a beer, I suppose.
Sure, you still got 90 minutes in the car
Yeah.
to get home, but
Yeah.
that one's worth
for sure it would be, yeah.
worth a view. That's the first place Mum and Dad saw a UFO from there.
All right, well, there
Back
you go.
way back when, might have been early 80s there, and
Yes.
they had a light go straight out from the pub and straight out to sea and came back. So, so that's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Topic very high on my
I know
list,
that.
as you know.
I
But
know that.
but I think the state is growing. I think they've done the Oban underpass that gets you now into the city quicker on Hackney Road. Tip your cap. They've done that.
Yes.
People wanted to complain about 2 or 3 minutes, but it takes 2 or 3 minutes off the ride. It's a positive.
You jump on the Oban, as you know, Wardy, and I never drove the Oban when I was driving buses. I was with Hackney Depot and Mile End Depot, but the St Agnes boys, knew a few of them, but as a member of the public, it's fantastic. Next thing you know, you're buzzing through Keswick or Paradise and Keswick, and then, as you say, you hit that tunnel, and next thing you're coming out of Curry Street. It's like, wow.
Isn't that good?
Brilliant.
I love it. I love going down underground there, and then you zip straight onto, what's the street called?
I reckon it's the other end of Curry Street. So what have we got? Grenfell Street. Yeah, big Grenfell Street.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And you're there. Bang. And
straight in there.
it's quick. Very quick.
I love it there. No, it's good. It's a really growing especially North Terrace. North Terrace has now got 5 or 6 towers down there. Mm-hmm. So even coming in on the O-Bahn there, and you look off to the right there,
Yes.
and you can see all the silhouettes of the buildings going down now, and they're 38 to 42 stories. Now, for Adelaide, that's a reasonable size to get 4 or 5 towers in a row there. Now, my older brother and his 2 boys, they're building those things in the city. And I don't know what you boys are doing, but I've requested for years to get one tower in there, even at 75 stories.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get this fucking building built for me, like you get the overseas guests here and you really haven't got... There's a few office bars up the top, the top of the building bars where you can sort of see north, east, south, west. You go to Singapore, you got one that's 86 stories. You go to Melbourne, you got one 102 stories.
That's mad.
You need one tower. Just give us one fucking tower. If a plane hits that, you're more than unlucky. You're more than likely to hit the buildings on O'Connell Street.
Well, it might happen. I suppose if they can fill it, they'll build it. But, I think it's going very good at the moment. I think it's happened pretty quickly.
Does look good.
It's happened quickly, though, as well, Waddy, hasn't it? I don't know, what, in the last 10 years is this?
I think Adelaide's hit puberty just recently, and there's a fair growth, and I think it's going the right way.
100%.
And not only does it look good, but I think we're starting to attract again, and people are coming here to live. And even the prices of houses has gone up, but still compared to Sydney and Melbourne, I think they're even saying Melbourne's almost touch and go with us at the minute now.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
So there has been a bit of a jump, which is probably to do with demand, I would say. But as you know, it used to take half an hour to get around the city. Now it takes a good hour to get around from north to south.
Yes, there's definitely been an influx of people and cars on the road and all of that. It's really changed in the last 15 years, I reckon.
New connectors, you got the concrete road going
brilliant.
through the...
Fucking brilliant.
Through the salt mines there.
Love it.
You could be anywhere in the world. It looks fantastic out there.
I like to be moving in the car. I don't care if it's longer or whatever, but if you're moving, it's good. Start, stop, does my head in, But if you're just moving, but that road down there, it's just brilliant, Fantastic. You can be at Tanunda, just so quick. And when they do the other side of it, in 5 years' time, whenever it's finished, that'll be just as good heading to Aldinga and places like that. You'll be there before you know it, without stopping, which is the best thing.
Yeah, I think once they get the Darlington to the brickworks there sorted out.
Yep.
Whether they keep it still as an open pit or they tunnel, I don't know what they're doing.
I think it might be a bit of both, over and under, I think. Because all the businesses there, as you'd know, they've all... we've moved to, so the demo boys are going to be busy.
Starting to decommission. Yeah, I think there's plenty of work here. We got, of course, right or wrong, we got the subs coming.
Yes.
Whether they're still building frigates, like there's plenty of work here, I'd say, for the next 40 years.
Of course there is.
So I think that little old Adelaide is just starting to reach that peak now where it's just starting to grow up.
Well, like you said, that's a good analogy you used. They're just hitting puberty. It's good for Adelaide.
We can see the legs starting to just get a little bit taller.
Yeah, that's good.
But well, look at the farmers. Your eldest daughter played good soccer, didn't she, for the females?
Yeah, I've got 2 daughters. I won't say their names. Christy and Cherie. Christy's my eldest daughter, and big hello to them 2 girls. They'll be listening to this when it does come out.
They did very well, didn't they?
Yeah, Christy she played soccer with the boys from about under, let's say roughly, I'll probably get this wrong, maybe like under 8s, 9s to 15s, I reckon. There used to be a law, I think under 13s, that you couldn't have the chicks playing, but I think that law got changed. And she held her own. She did really well, not just from me being a proud dad, or Mum was proud as well, but even other parents said, she definitely held her own, and boys went in hard. They didn't pull out, to my knowledge, if they were tackling her or vice versa. And she did well with them, with Ingle Farm Junior Soccer Club, and then went to Parramatta Girls and had a really good stellar year in under 16, 17 girls, I reckon, and they won the league and won the cup, and then she finished up with Monbury Vista, did well, and very proud of them both. The little ones, she was a green belt in primary school in karate, so that's good. So, yeah, no, very, very lucky to have two good girls.
Yes, absolutely. No, they're all good kids. They've done very well at what they've done, haven't they?
They have done well, yeah, and just on that, I reckon they played against Reese's mob in a cup final one day out at Salisbury Elizabeth Way. And,
Yeah, I reckon it was Elizabeth. Yeah.
It was good to see both of our siblings reach a final. I think Reese was playing for Valley View then, and that was really good for them to make a cup final. It was not a struggling club, but yeah, they did well, and yeah, it was good to see both of our kids run around the cup final.
It was funny to see his little journey there too, because he was such a tiny little kid forever, and he was very timid. And he said, I might have been year 11, I think it was year 11, and he said, I really want to go now. I really want to excel. And I said, well, if you want to, we'll take you, no problem at all. And
Yep.
it started off at his school at Kings there, and boy, that year he excelled with effort.
Yeah, good
He
on
still
him.
fought with his teachers. He was still late for school. He loved it. He was like me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it was good to see. He did very well in the Christian schoolboys that went to Sydney, I think, and he really excelled. Then the following year was matric, so he didn't do it and never went back.
Yeah, it can happen like that. But no, he's a good lad, Reese. Got a lot of time for him. Good boy.
It was good to see. Good to see. Like you only wish for your kids to have the best opportunity that is
Absolutely,
available
mate.
to them.
No, they got.
And how's Mum? She well? She's still busy working?
Yeah, Mum's well. She works for. I don't know if I should say this here, but when you hear them ads, if you listen to Triple M about old Nurse Tracy, yeah, that's where the missus works, and yeah, she enjoys it. It's a good family business. Yeah, no, she's going real well. She never complains, so I'm very lucky there as well. I'm very lucky with the three girls I live with. Awesomely lucky.
What about homebrew? You doing any homebrew at the minute?
Nah, we haven't done that for a long time now, probably maybe 10 years. But no, got into it for a while, gave samples out to many of people and asked for their honest opinion, and yeah, got pretty good feedback. Entered it into the Tanunda show for a couple of years and picked up a couple of second prizes.
All right, well done.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked with it. I think one was a ginger beer and one was a stout from memory, and yeah, they were good days. It took a bit of time to do, but yeah, it was a hobby, and yeah, 33 cents a pint, I think it ended up costing. So
It's pretty cheap, isn't it?
pretty cheap. Yeah, it was good.
I know Mandy's good friend Lyndall's dad, David, he used to homebrew, and in the end he had that many different versions of everything. They're all crated up and they all had their dates on them, and I used to sit there as a young, as a 21-year-old, and I used to go, whoa, how cool would this be one day, Because,
Yeah.
a bloke needs something to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, you do end up dating it and it becomes obsessive almost, like you'll just tweak this a bit, but yeah, sometimes you'll go pear-shaped and you'll fuck it up and it'll smell like crayon.
Have you ever over-alcoholed them that they've exploded?
I've never blown one up. A bit like yourself, my granddad in Queensland used to knock it up, and he'd tell stories about, bang, bang, bang in the middle of the night in the laundry and that, but yeah, that's people just trying to chase that bit too much alcohol in, I reckon, the sugar.
Creating a bomb.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've split the atom, Dad. I've split the
Yeah.
atom. Nah, that's good. It's one of those things with this podcast. Reese and I went down and saw a local brewery last Tuesday. And we had a meeting with them and with the Dozen Skulls Brewery.
Beautiful.
That we went down. I took them down some coffee cups, and we had a meeting with Brad there. G'day, Brad. He's about 6'10". He had to duck to get underneath the doors, but he gave us half an hour of his precious time, and we did a brewery tour just down there at Holden Hill. And he showed us all the vats and all the small vats that they do, 500 litre, beers and different flavours, and you could get this and that and 5, 10, 15,000 litres, and They had 7 or 8 big vats down the middle that were huge.
Yeah, the microbreweries took off there for a while, didn't they? I don't know if they're still up and about as much, but I reckon a few years ago they were everywhere.
I think their growth, I think they picked up 2 or 3 new gigs as well. So
That's good. Real good.
So it was good to see it. And at this stage, I've got a 4-year goal to try to get. We can use his ingredients and we can tweak them, and then they'll can them in our bottles for us.
Oh, right. Yeah. Why not?
You know, at the podcast there, you can drink some local beers, and
That's cool.
and we'll tweak a pilsner and a lager, and with our own label on it, which is pretty special.
Absolutely. That's
So I
good.
thought-
That's good.
The next 4 years, so it's good to have Reese back. I've got the producer back now, which is even on the Sunshine Coast. He got a brand new laptop that's helping everybody out, that he can keep communicating with us and keep tweaking stuff and sending it down to us. So
Good lad. He's a smart cookie.
he's back from Canada, so it's good to have him back in Australia. And Katie's still doing very well in London. She's met a guy called Andy, and they're into their 2nd year now. And we were lucky enough to meet them in November last year, and not long after Bathurst, and had a couple of weeks with them, which was good.
Awesome.
So
No, you got a couple of good kids there, mate, and a good missus as well. Mandy's a good lady, so yeah, we're doing well in that area, aren't we?
we're lucky,
Very lucky.
very lucky to have the freedom.
Yep, for sure.
But I think we're also good men. We don't stray too far either. So
No, that helps. Yep, for sure.
what about the old Holden? You've got an old Holden at home.
We had Kerry's old Holden. That was a HR 66, Adelaide built, Woodville plant. Sold that a couple of years ago now. And that was her first car. She paid $1,000 for it, and obviously sold it for a bit more. Won't say the price.
No.
And that helped fund, if you want to say, the current Canadian-built 1965 Chevy Bela.
Okay.
And we bought that on Bathurst Day in 2020, because I was a bit late rocking up that day.
Is that right?
And yeah, that's our Sunday cruiser now. And but had a few Holdens over the time. But yeah, love the cars, love the steel bumper cars for sure.
Yes, I've been lucky enough. You did toot out the front. I know Reese had a couple of goes in front of me, and I remember you ringing up saying, "Hey, Whitey, I'm in the area. Get out the front." And
Yeah.
to sit in that barge was beautiful. Got
smiles per gallon for sure.
all the room in the world. Nice brown colour, isn't it?
Yeah, tawny grey.
Tawny grey.
Yeah, that and this particular Belair would have come off the production line. It would have possibly had a HD, which is a 65 Holden, in front of it, and then it would have had another HD Ute maybe behind it on the production line, which is I've done a bit of history on it, and pretty amazing. They were assembled here and obviously sent over from Canada to once again the Woodville plant, and then they went from Woodville to Dandenong, I think. Dandenong to be finished. So they've got a lot of GMH about them.
I had the Holden boys here a couple of weeks ago, as you know. And,
Good podcast, very good.
To see, and the boys used to talk about the family, how big it was. You know, it went from car seats to screws that went into those seats, to steering wheels, to winders, to everything that made up the Holden car. And it was spread right out through Australia, to build this one car.
Yeah.
Okay, it went to the plant here in the end at Elizabeth once it got there.
Yep.
But, what a journey those boys had done. Excuse me. They were there for 40 years or something like that.
Yeah. It was a good podcast. I enjoyed listening to it.
To hear the story, these days of after General Motors Holden, they miss it. Of course they do. That was your work years with your buddies, and that's where your camaraderie and a lot of your life friends were. You would see them more than your own partner.
Yes.
You were there 5-6 days a week. You'd go in there on weekends, and the tool shop used to get the robots ready for the weekends. So they go in there Friday and they'd swap everything around, and they'd make 20 cars on a Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday night they'd have to go back in and change all the tools around again. Those stories you don't hear about. They're They're the great stories.
Yeah, they're good. It's another time though, mate, isn't it? And I think listening to that podcast, a few of the boys, they'd work for 5 days a week and they'd end up having a barbie at the other mate's house on a Saturday or a Sunday. So, yeah.
But it's, so, you know, you do spend a lot of time at work as a bloke. You know, we don't really have downtime really these days for babies. And, you know, you sort of, as a bloke, you sort of strive to get out there and try and earn enough money to keep everybody going. And at some stage, your wife's got to stop and have babies. And, you know, if that's how you choose to go through it. And, you know, you live on that one wage for quite a while, don't you? And
Sure do.
you know, you got to. There are hard times. You know, there are times you got to pull your head in and try to keep it all flowing, and you know, try to reduce your wants and just try to keep that money coming through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were lucky enough, I suppose, to my wife was able to stay at home until the kids pretty much had finished high school from when they were born,
Fantastic.
which is unheard of these days. You know, when we grew up, it might have been. But in the generation we're in now, that was pretty rare, but that was pretty good for the kids. And, yeah.
I think so. I think you always needed one parent home, didn't you? You know, if you've got two working.
Yeah.
Who's looking after your kids?
Well, yeah, true. I know what you're saying. I know what you're alluding to for sure, but, yeah. That was very lucky to be able to do that.
But where do we go from here, Robbo? Let's go back up to Mount Torrens.
Yep. So born and bred in Ingle Farm. Bit of a divorce in the family. So Mum packed up and went up to Mount Torrens, and yeah, we're up there for a few years. The younger brother was up there a bit longer than me, obviously, because he was 5 years younger than me. But I reckon I went up there when I was about probably 14, 13.
What's your younger brother's name?
Andrew.
I don't think I've met him.
No, you haven't met Andrew. I've got another younger brother he's a brother. He's like a half brother, but he's yeah, that's James, and then my older brother's David. But yeah, you're up at Mount Torrens, quiet little town. So being the age I was, went up there. It was like, what the hell's going on here? You know, pretty quiet. Fucking shops shut at 12. The only shop. Yeah, so it was a bit of a reality check. You know, I wasn't real big on it. You know, I look back now and it was a beautiful spot and I could probably live there now. But at the time it was like, fuck, now you've taken me out the metropolitan area to some place where there's just nothing.
The pub at Mount Torrens isn't there. The building is, but is it not a pub anymore?
To my knowledge, I thought it was still a pub, but it could be changed. I haven't been there for many, many years now, a few decades now. But yeah, we did frequent the pub a couple of times there, so I must have.
It was on the bend coming down the
yes.
Yeah, it was the last building on the right.
Yep.
And then your next one was Palmer, wasn't it?
Palmer, Tunkillo, whatever.
Tunkillo.
Yeah.
I might be thinking of Tunkillo, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's good up through the hills there.
Oh, it's beautiful up there, yeah, for sure. But just, yeah, as a teenager, it was like, this is
So what school did you go to up there?
Well, I did 1 week of year 11 Birdwood High School. Mum thought she'd just take me there and sort of pull the wool over my eyes. Next thing you know, there's fucking uniform coming out, and I'm just staying there the day. And I did a week of year 11 there, and that was it. No, I didn't know anyone. Yeah, so I pulled the pin on that. Didn't like that at all. So I think the next day, Mum thought I was going to school, and I jumped on my bike, which I still have today, a push bike, and rode to Loberthal, jumped on a bus, went down, saw the old man, and he started thinking, all right, might try and get you a job somewhere temporarily or something. So yeah, that's what that happened. Anyway, Dad dropped us off on, I think it was Monday, so I must have ridden there on a Friday, left me pushy at the mechanics, caught the bus down, saw the old man, and then Monday he's dropped us off and done the reverse trip on me pushy back from Loberthal to Mount Torrens. Yeah, funny times, different times, but you look back now and it's pretty funny. But at the time, yeah, it was fucking mad.
Mandy's eldest sister Debbie, her husband Neil, he went to Birdwood High School, and they used to have a car, an old XW 302, and it was called Henry. It was black.
Yeah, Henry Ford, yeah.
And I think they got from Tea Tree Gully to Birdwood in 14 minutes.
Yeah.
I might have to check the time.
Yeah,
Long
probably
time ago.
Yeah.
They probably had a lap belt as well.
Yeah, would have been lap belts then, mate. Yeah.
But you know, you look at all those times ago with the muscle cars too, and it was. We were lucky enough to see that. We had combustion engines, we had carburetors, we had hollies that would suck, you know, 4 barrels on.
Yep.
You know, aspirated vehicles. You know, these days the kids wouldn't even know about really any of the engines. We sort of grew up with engines, didn't we?
Kids these days would probably rarely lift the bonnet where we were told, you know, like, lift the bonnet, check your oil and water and check your brake fluid and stuff.
You worked at the servo, you put oil in people's
Correct.
car, you know, you check people's oil and water when they pull up.
Yeah.
And that's not that long ago, you know, you'd have half-litre bottles, litre bottles, it was leaded fuel.
Yep. Yeah.
All those sorts of things, you know, that was part and parcel. Check the oil, would you, young fella?
Yeah.
Pull the dipstick out and...
Well, servos have changed a lot now, haven't they, mate? From then to like now, it's like a little supermarket.
That's right. Yeah, you can buy your Chinese noodles and your Afghan biscuits. So,
Absolutely.
You can get whatever flavour you want on the run anyway,
You
can't
sure
you?
can.
Yes, it certainly is a different world. But anyway, you're up the hills there and, you had a good time, obviously living in the hills and... we did lots of work up there for years when I was doing shower screens. I used to do all the shower screens from Tea Tree Gully, Gumaraka, Lobethal, Mount Pleasant, and then all the way through to Mount Barker, Bridgewater, Aldgate. You'd do all those ones and, you know, every day you'd find yourself driving back through Chain of Ponds there and you'd keep an idea on the levels of the water and, you know, whatever time of year it was, whether it was summer or winter, and you'd come back to Mandy and say, hey, Mandy, the reservoir is pretty low. You know, it's all of a sudden they're pumping water, you know, in the good years, but there's also bad years there where you don't get the rain, and possibly this year could be one of those years that we don't get the rain. But we were up there just only 7 days ago up through Chain of Ponds there, and it's pretty low at the minute. The water level has dropped significantly, and I know that they did stop pumping quite a while ago, and we've obviously used up a lot of water. Even Hope Valley Reservoir is down compared to normal. There's still a good volume of water in there, but if you're lucky enough to get up to Chain of Ponds and have a look how low the water is, if you go closer to the north side of the reservoir, you'll find that all the old bridges are starting to come out, and you know it's really good. It's probably good for the land to regenerate a little again before it starts getting flooded again with water after the winter. And
Yeah, it's definitely low, isn't it?
but it'll be interesting to see what happens this year with El Nino and whether we get another dry winter. Now, it's certainly been dry up to now, but you've found in the years gone by that we've had bulk rain later in the season. You know, we may not get it early, but August, I reckon, September has been very heavy rain and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah,
But still lower than normal.
Yeah, lower than normal for sure. But
Just starts a lot later, you know, instead of getting your rain. You know, once Easter comes, it starts to cool off, and then you've got May. Sometimes you get a good drop of snow in May, June. Early May, you can get some good dumps over there in New South Wales, Victoria, and get that season off and going. I think it's only this weekend or whatever they might be lucky enough to get a dump. I'd say they will if it doesn't rain. Hopefully it's cold enough. But
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the snow season goes this year. I've never seen it myself personally, but never seen snow.
Romantic. It's very good. I took the kids, Mandy and I took the kids down the Great Ocean Road once, and we drove all the way to Torquay and Bells Beach and Warrnambool, and we drove back into Melbourne, through Melbourne, and then up to Mount Beauty, and we took them to, I think Mount Buller might have been the closest one.
Right.
And we were lucky. There was a little bit of snow up there, and, you know, we just
that's cool.
fucked around there with
Yeah.
iced coffees, and I think we tobogganed I, I always used to buy Mars bars and chuck them in the ice because I always like the chocolate nice and cold and crunchy. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love the snow. The snow's fantastic. And to see where Reese was in Whistler was just, I was such a lucky, Mandy and I were so lucky to have 3 or 4 days there. And lucky enough, I got COVID the day we left there from the flight over, which was day 5. So we were lucky enough to ski for a few days.
Very lucky.
And see that, and to see these mountains coming out of the waterways at 60 degrees, and you just sit there and think, my God.
It'd be surreal for me,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, to see, I haven't seen Switzerland. That's one I still, Lauterbrunnen, and there's a few places there that I want to see.
You'll get there.
Maybe.
Nah, you'll get there, I reckon.
And even if I don't, you know, before I go to work, Robbo, every day, yeah, as you know, I'm self-employed.
Yep.
I try not to go early. I try to have breakfast.
Good man.
And I'll go and watch on YouTube every morning places I'd like to go to.
That's good.
And then I go to work at, say, 8:30 with a pretty good attitude.
Good medicine.
And if I'm not in the drive at 2:30 having a coldie, I'd be pretty pissed off, you know, that I've had to.
That's good, mate. That's good.
But, you know, at the end of the day, we all go to work, and these days we're on the way to 60, Robbo. I can't believe that.
Yeah, that's
68,
true.
boys. It's coming with a rush now to 60. I thought, well, 60's that long away, but it's not now, is it?
It's round the corner.
How cool's that?
I don't mind it. I reckon, bring it. Fucking bring it. You know, the closer that comes.
You think how many premierships you'll have by the time you get to 60? There'll be 4 of them.
Just not having an alarm clock is just as good as a premiership, I reckon. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. If, you know, people are in that position where you can, you know, wind down work.
Be good to wind down work a bit.
Yep.
Work does. I do get in that shower every morning, and I think, fucking hell, I was here yesterday. I'm pretty sure I was here doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a bit repetitious. But we'll get there. The day will come.
That's it. What about when one thing I did want to touch base was when you were driving,
Yes.
was there any times that you were either threatened by somebody, or there was any situations where the bus may not be behaving as it should be, or there were thugs on the bus? Did you have any stories in the years you were driving?
Oh, look, there's a few. They're hard to remember now because it's been a while, but I suppose the hours that I was doing, it was mainly transporting people to and from work. Like I said, it was sort of 6:30 till 10:30, and then I'd come back at 2:30 till 6:30. I did do a few afternoon shifts, but yeah, I didn't have a great deal of trouble. I used to hear some stories, but I can't really recall. But yeah, no, there's all different sort of people. I'd take. I'm trying to think now. Let's go back. We used to take the Phoenix people. They were the disadvantaged people. Out to Phoenix, they were a laugh. You know, they
Grand Junction Road.
It was actually down Ashwin Parade where we spoke about earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
I know where you're talking
Torrensville.
now. Yeah, it was out Torrensville way. No, they were a laugh. Them fellas, you know, holding hands. You know, the boy and the girl. Or, you know, funny fellas.
They used to kiss a lot and touch.
Yeah, they were very touchy-feely people. But good luck to them.
Yeah, for sure. No, they were very touchy-feely on the buses all those years going to baseball.
Yeah. Used to take the blind people to Gillis Plains there, you know, and one guy would get off at the end there, and I'd say, all right, mate, see you later. Or he'd say, see you, and he did some blinds. I like, you know, obviously I fucking can't, he can't see me, so because he's blind. But they were good people. School kids, Urbray, high school, whatever it was called, you know, they were loud. And, yeah, they were loud mob, but...
They've done that intersection up well, haven't they?
Yeah,
they had a fairly
significant
accident there, I believe, a few years ago, which prompted that to get some attention. But they've done a good job, haven't they? It's very clear.
Correct.
You've got many lanes going each way, and you know they've still got an issue with the freeway, haven't they?
Yes.
You still had a truck last week or the week before go through the retaining wall there again, and.
I don't know what they can do there, Whitey, really. You know, they got the arrestor beds, but still, you wouldn't want to be sitting at the top of Cross Road or at the top of Glen Osmond Road.
Not seeing it coming.
You got nowhere to go. bring them round the Barossa, like they said, cut through or whatever. And
Well, that I was going to touch on that as well. That was the long-term 25-year goal, wasn't it, to get them on the Northern Connector and then get them back to Tailem Bend or Murray Bridge.
Yep.
Is that still in the pipeline? Do we need to ring the state parliament fella?
Oh, fucking, his phone probably won't answer, but
He's probably too busy being proactive and getting all the concerts ready for...
well, that is true, yeah.
I heard Cold Jizzle's playing.
Yeah.
How good's that going to be?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, no, that's good. See, 1 minute we're loving him, then now we're just shooting him in the foot.
No, we're not shooting him. He's...
Nah, it's a tough one to sort out, that whole bottom of the freeway. I don't know.
I think, look, they can't get the elevation out of there like you think years ago when you did all that windy shit.
Yep.
And then you had Devil's Elbow, and how many trucks used to roll over on Devil's Elbow and then shut the place down in peak hour?
Yeah, a lot of it like then and now was probably local knowledge. If you're an interstate driver and you weren't fully aware of the old school Devil's Elbow or, you know...
Devil's Elbow used to turn back on itself, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was pretty heavy.
Yeah, it was crazy when you look back and think about it, you know, B-doubles or bridges, whatever, going up there. It would have been tough. It was tough in a car, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, the brake was very low to the floor once you got to the bottom. Once it got hot, anything that gets hot doesn't work out as it should.
Right. But luckily, that's not our sort of... We can't solve that problem, but yeah, they've got to do something with the bottom of at Leewood Gardens there for sure.
We got a mate that sort of messes around with trucks a little bit, don't we? We every now and then get up to his shack there and...
yeah, nice trucks as well, mate. He's got very nice trucks.
Nice and clean, aren't they?
Best in Australia, mate.
When Dad was still alive, he used to go, I saw another one of those again, Ash.
Yeah.
Gee, they were clean.
Yeah, the best in Australia, in my opinion.
They certainly catch a lot of water off their big roof factories, don't they, and store it underground.
Yeah, smart operators, very smart operators.
But we had some fun up the river there with them, didn't we? That was...
a lot of fun. Good times, good people.
From beach parties and...
Bit of skiing and...
He's still a good skier too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good skier. He's a good skier.
Good strong core.
Good strong core.
He is a lover though, don't forget he is a lover.
Yeah.
But we used to play a few games up there late at night, didn't we?
Yeah, we'd play a bit of 8-ball and we'd bring a piece of fruit out every now and again and have a crack at that, which was... That sounds probably not very good, but yeah, it was all about the drops of the fruit.
They were a lime, weren't they? We left the lemons alone. They were a little bit acidic.
Yeah, went with the limes.
How many limes was the best?
Well, I think you still hold the title, and it would have been probably best part of probably 12 drops, I think. It was 12 drops in the eye, and
Is
it
that
hurt
you,
like
is that
shit.
you, Robbo? I can barely see that far.
Yeah, it was. That was. Oh, geez, we laughed that night, didn't we? Yeah, 12 drops in your eye, and didn't it hurt? But then it sort of when it went away, it started feeling better.
Oh, it did sting, didn't it?
Oh, it stung like
I remember I had to work that next morning as well, and I reckon it was 3 o'clock, and we were still going out there with the 8-ball, and
yeah, long days.
How wonderful to have that experience where we all sat out there once the kids were fed and they were wherever they were.
Because they were a bit younger then,
swimming in the river at night or whatever they were doing, and to sit out there and play 8-ball and open up the roller doors or close them down and have some fun out there with the adults. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun and times we won't forget. Yeah, they were really good times. And once again, we were very lucky to have a mate involved us in his life to partake in them activities, which was good fun.
Very good fun. Yes, we did learn a lot up there, didn't we?
Sure, certainly did.
It's Mandy and I went up a few years ago. It's only a couple of years ago. Might have been young Brookie's 21st, and old mate rang up and said, "Hey, you and Mandy better get up here." So I'd only just finished work here, and Mandy said, "We got to go. Neil's calling." So up we did. We shot up there, and boy, it was a good night. Once again, I think it kept going from 3 o'clock in the morning, and seems to be a curse up there that when the devil's hour's out, you're up there having fun.
You're with good people. You're in a good environment. It's just, why wouldn't you? You know, you don't want to go to bed at 10 o'clock. You think, having fun, you know.
You always ate dinner at 9 o'clock anyway, didn't you?
You did eat dinner pretty
9:30.
late, yeah.
Do we eat enough food?
Oh. And it was fresh as.
Well,
I think the truck sometimes.
straight off the truck.
Yeah, straight off the truck. You pull up for a bit, load the boot up, fresh strawberries and everything else.
Yes, there was lots up there. You always had something to do, or even if you had nothing to do, you could just sit out there on the lawn and
Beautiful spot.
and do absolutely nothing. That was one of the best things I think about it.
Yep, pure relaxation if you wanted to, or get into it if you wanted to as well.
And a good location, wasn't it? You know, it was.
Yeah, we did a bit of canoeing there. I remember we went for a little bit of canoeing under the bridge and stuff.
We did get up, underneath the bridge there. And I think I said to Manny, there's a good little hollow in there. We should go.
You tried. You tried.
I didn't get too far. She said it may be hollow, but we're not going anywhere near that one.
Very good times. You don't forget them times. Good times.
Well, where do we go from here, Mr. Robbos?
Well, you know, I was a bit apprehensive of doing this, so it's probably not doing your listeners much. They probably turned off by now anyway, but there's bits and pieces. But I'm pretty quiet, reserved sort of person. Haven't done a great deal in my life, but very lucky to what I have done and all of that stuff, mate.
Well, we've still got plenty of footy this year to get through, haven't we? With the AFL to get us busy up till then. We don't go back till Bathurst, so the morning we fly back in.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, that.
Yeah, that'll be... Yeah, I'll need a little bit of help there just to get the lawns cut and whatever.
Billy and myself will be getting that sorted, and it'll all work out. You'll be right.
I'm sure you'll have it done. Hey, one thing I did want to touch base again on is these days you're... making sure that everybody's pretty safe on the road. How's that line of work going?
Yeah, that's good. I've been there about 20 years this year, actually. So once again, very lucky. Another government position. It's a good job.
Hasn't that gone quick?
Super quick.
20 years.
Because in between the buses when I left, that's when the eldest daughter was born, and we had one interview in 4 years. And landed it, and 20 years later, I'm still in that company. So, very lucky. Very lucky. I don't know what else you shoot away, mate, with questions, and I'll see if I can answer them or not.
Sure. What about your? We did fix the sliding door up. Was that late last year?
Brilliant. Had a very good trade.
Any speeding fines? Who's got the record for? How quick the door shuts these days?
Oh, well, for the first few weeks after you repaired it, with a little bit of help from your assistant.
We repaired it. Yes, we did.
I didn't do much. Well, first of all, it scared the shit out of me because you'd absolutely taken it all the perimeter or whatever you call it off it, and there's a sheet of glass happening. I thought, this is not good. But it all went back together, and people out there would know about a roller door, a sliding door. If the wheels go on them, it's like dragging razor blades over a stone or whatever I'm trying to say. But now it's like just smooth as silk. And for the first week, there was a few bangs because it just it was smooth as silk, and it still is to this day. So thank you very much for that, mate. You did well. It was only a quick call.
No, it was a good day. It was good to pull that thing apart, and we're still doing that these days. We're still pulling. We still get calls weekly. In regards to doing that sort of stuff, and if you've got the material, it makes it a lot easier to do it. You were lucky enough to go straight down to Bunnings and grab some gear, but
we lived with it for probably 10 years, like a real pig, and then you've come around a couple of hours, and it's like brand new. Really good.
You go down on weekends still often, just going back into the local sport.
Yeah, mate.
Well, just go back there again. You spend a lot of time on weekends. I know that you're very good with keeping stats and figures. We got young Jack Bastian that plays cricket, and he's doing very well with the cricket. I know that you keep up to date with all that.
I try to, especially with Jack. I went and watched him a few times. Yeah, unfortunately, when I've gone and watched, though, he's batting because I can't, watch the toss. But Yeah, he's going real well, and I wish him all the best. I think I haven't spoken to Billy for a while, but I believe he went overseas recently. No?
Could have done, or it's pending still.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. I haven't seen Billy for a while, but
Yeah, all right. Okay. But no, he obviously can bowl quick, and he's a good cricketer, and he's overcome his injuries.
Saw him and Will Anzac Day. They were up at
Tea Tree Gully.
Tea Tree Gully.
Yep.
And then, Pete come down. We went up there. We had a lazy 8 before 9 o'clock. It was beautiful. Got the beer tickets up there. And
I think you rang me later that evening or that afternoon, and you just seemed in good spirits.
Isn't Anzac Day? We'll finish up on Anzac Day here, Robbo, I reckon. Anzac Day's probably my best day of the year, Bathurst second. I know the days are completely different, but I look forward to Anzac Day every year and getting up there and have a look at the dawn service, and you always get a little bit of light rain just about every year, just a very light sprinkle of rain. You get the planes fly over just as the sun's coming up, and you hear the marching band come up the walk there.
Yeah, brilliant.
You sit there and listen to the party come in and do all their whatever, and then all the reefs and all that, and then go back and have a beer afterwards at Anzac. How wonderful. Every year it gets bigger and better. There's more people every year.
It's good.
Let them not grow old. It's so important for us. It's so important that we've got where we are today. We've got this wonderful time.
It's really good. It's really, really good, and I know you're very passionate about it, and you do it every year or most years. So, yeah, you should be proud of yourself. And like you said, there's more and more people every year going out to them, and that's what it's all about, isn't it, really?
It's pretty good, yeah. I think that let them not grow old is the one that sort of sticks, that they gave their life for where we are today. And
100%.
But bar that, mate, thank you, man. I think it's great that we've had an opportunity to catch up. And thank you very much for your time. And we'll go and have a beer, eh?
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks for your invite. I probably didn't bring much to the table, but I'm a bit out of my comfort zone doing this. But, yeah, whoever's listening out there, fucking good on yous. And thanks, Whitey.
Good on you, Robbo. Good to talk to you. We'll call the button on this one. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers, mate. Bye.